and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC as we have returned with the round of 16 of the PiGosaur Monday number 10. And spawning in the right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the American Terran player, the Orange Terran, representing his new team, Detonate. It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is Mute. And before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Christopher Fister. Thank you so much for the raid. God, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session, I'm assuming. Hope you had a great time. And Merry Christmas. I saw the Twitch title earlier. I was I was very concerned, but also happy holidays. As we settle into our next series here. Oh boy, and coming into this, Dolan, I mean, we did see how aggressive he was earlier in the previous series against Soita, but we'll see if that aggression continues. For those that are curious, Dolan in game 1 did go for a 2-base, basically a 2-base all-in, 2-base aggression. Game number 2 did go for a 1-base proxy all-in by pulling the boys. Here, we'll see how he does approach Mute. Also, before I forget, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat. Mute is going to be a bit of a level up from Soita. He is a very strong GM Protoss player in the American region. We've seen him go toe-to-toe with some of these big names in the past. So I do think this is going to be a good challenge for Dolan. Back at home, going to be a single gas opener, racks expand, economic start here by Dolan. Meanwhile, Mute, likewise, just going for a gate into Cybercore into expansion. Standard opener here by our Protoss player, economic opener by Dolan. Once he does sneak in, it does slip by with that bunker. Let's go. The bunker has been placed behind the mineral line. With this, he can, of course, try and deny mining here, try and contain his opponents and delay the economy here of Mute for as long as possible, as Mute doesn't know. He doesn't know, doesn't see the bunker, has no idea what's going on, and the bunker will complete. The goal here is for the Reaper to get behind and to deny as much mining for as long as possible. Reaper's on the way. Behind this, we do have a second Rax. Interesting. Second Rax is in production. We'll see if we have a third Rax into a 3 Rax follow-up into a stim timing. Reaper dips into the main. Oh, gets a probe. Gets one worker, pulls away, diving into the bunker. So far, no setup. Now Mute realizes what's going on, and we're going to need a shield battery. Ideally, a shield battery and a stalker to help deal with this. Likewise, it's going to be micro between the units attacking and the repairs on the bunker. Second Reaper has arrived. Oh no! Reaper gets caught. A bit of miscontrol there by Dolan. Does stay within the mineral line, gets shut down. Nice pick up here by Mute. But mining is still being denied. Meanwhile, back at home, we have the answer. It is 3 Raxes. It is going to be a 3 Rax follow-up. What this leads into is going to be a big stim timing, building up a massive amount of Marines, massive amount of Marauders, moving out across the map momentarily with a massive bio army. And we'll see if Mew can recognize what's going on. But now, chasing down the SCV. We'll get it. SCV does fall, and the bunker will not be salvaged. Bearing in mind, this is a big factor, a big feature of the new patch, is that bunkers, I mean, they can try to salvage, but if they get attacked, the salvage is cancelled. So this does force us to be more committed than it used to be, and this should be a kill on the bunker. So again, in general, bunker harass like this has since, I mean, we rarely see it nowadays because of the nerf in the patch. It does go down. So now it is a bigger investment from the Terran side of things, as they can no longer salvage. Meanwhile, back at home, the Marines are amassing. Checking the vision here, Dolan did confirm the tech of choice is going to be a Twilight Council opener into Blink, and this should trigger Dolan into making more Marauders. Marines initially, but Marauders eventually. As he's building up his bio army. Now, this is not an all-in, bear that in mind. It is committed, don't get me wrong, but not necessarily all-in. Designed to move out across the map. It could end the game. Ideally wants to get some damage done nonetheless, and this typically leads into a 3rd base. Leads into a more macro mid-game. But it's still committed, I should say. I should emphasize. It's still going to be quite committed here from Dolan. Back at home, we do have a 2-gate blink into a third very economic build here by Mute. And my biggest concern, Mute should be out on the map. There we go, he's moving out with Adepts. Ideally, is moving out with Stalkers as well. The way to properly deal with this is if Mute realizes what's coming his way, if he spots the army, he can slow it down. He can chip away at it with his Stalkers, use his blink control, of course, to kite back, ideally force out a stim, pick off Marines, maybe Sniper and Marauder as well, and just pick away at the army as it moves out across the map. As the army spotted, now he knows. Mute does know, and he has to respond with those Stalkers. So far, the Stalkers are still back at home. Dolan moves out. Stalkers are not being active, and Dolan, he will get across the map unharassed, uncontested. He is moving out. Observer does confirm the build of choice as well. Stalkers, now they activate. But it might just be too late at this point, as they will miss the army. Oh no. They do miss the army. Dolan coming in from behind. Observer does confirm. Stalkers, they try to engage. Oh, going for the Marauder. They go for the Marauder. There's the first stim. Dolan stims up the ramp. No shield battery. No force field, I should say. Sentry goes down. Pylon as well. Depowers everything. The Artosis pylon falls, and Dolan busts into the mineral line. Probes are going down. This is brutal. This is far too much damage. Gonna get up to what? 9, 10, 11 probes. Trades with the Stalkers, is cleaned up, doesn't end the game, but does cripple the economy of Mute. Behind this, Dolan now taking a worker lead, behind this building up, getting ready for his eventual drop play. And so far, good damage. Didn't end the game, don't get me wrong, did not quite end the game, but did do quite a bit. Didn't just get economic damage, does slow down immortal production, slows down the production in general. Mute now moving out, and Mute needs to be active here. Again, with Blink Stalkers, he has the maneuverability to get into the main. He can try to bypass natural, dive into the main, pick off some add-ons, get some SCV damage, or just contain the Terran. Oh. Playing with fire, pushing up the ramp, gets a Marine. Oh, Dolan going for the stim. Can he get a Stalker? Ooh, he can. One Stalker goes down. Better trade for Dolan, trading a Marine for a Stalker. Now moving out. Behind this is that third CC at the natural, as we did mention, is macroing up. And here come the reinforcements. Here come the 2 medevacs, which means Dolan can now stim more freely. He's rotating over towards the third base. No shield battery, but there is a sentry. There are some force fields. Dolan moving in. Mute, he can hold his own here. Going for hallucination, which means no force field. And no force field from the Protoss, which means Stalkers are going down. Dolan busting into the mineral line, going for the pylon. Denies the warp in, but here comes the Colossus. And just in time. That's a lot of Marauders. He can stim in. No, the Colossus, get out of here. He can't get away. Colossus goes down. Brutal pickoff. This army will fall for Dolan, but he's going to trade as best he can, picking up even more probes. Getting 9 more workers, 10 more workers. Can he get 11? Can he get 12? Not quite, but 11 probe kills. Colossus, the Stalkers, the Sentry, and Dolan, he just keeps going. He just keeps going. These have been brutal trades, and Mute just cannot really recover from here. He's trying to, though. Getting another Colossus, reinforcing. But because of these losses, it means that Mute, his army, his main army, his main composition is being reset time and time again. He can't hit a critical mass of Colossus or Stalkers or Immortals. Has been reset. And Dolan, he dives in for round 3. Into the mineral line. Alas, the Protoss out of position. And just going up on the Zealots. Ooh. Alas, this time the drop is going to be deflected. Depowers a bunch of gateways. Dolan have to pull out at the same time. Oh, we do defend the third. Full medevac goes down as well. Better defense here from Mute. And Dolan is going to calm things down, consolidate his army. Taking his third. And we'll see where Dolan heads next. The drop is spotted. Mute is aware. Trying to respond. A second Colossus on the way. Building up to 2 Colossi. Dolan, does he push in towards the natural or just head for the third? Pylon does confirm. Mute sees the army. He knows Dolan's coming. Here's where Dolan's pushing in. Dolan, he goes for the dive. Again, that's so many Marauders. The Colossus, they tickle the army. Nice kiting here out of Dolan. Mine shots are not baited out. Oh, gonna be spent on the Stalkers. Oh no! Oh my god. Might as well connect. Robo goes down, and the army is gonna be surrounded here. The Marauders, they just chew through those Stalkers and the Colossus. GG gets called, and Dolan takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We'll take a lead in the series. And again, unfortunately, Mute was just unaware of what was going on. He was unaware of the initial build, even though he saw the bio army. If you remember, Mute didn't respond until his observer got into the main. The observer got into the main base, the observer saw the Raxes. That is finally when Mute started to move out with the Stalkers, but by then, the army was already across the map. Dolan, he was already across the map, so Mute, he was caught with his pants down. Likewise, we saw the late warping of Sentry, which means that late force fields. I mean, we didn't actually see any force fields just because of how late that warp-in was. And, yeah, Mute, he was caught out. Likewise, with the follow-up push towards the third base, likewise, Mute also didn't see it coming. That's why there was no shield batteries ready. That's also why there was no sentries ready for force fields either. Alas, just lack of vision is really what did kill Mute there in that first game. And now we're getting into game number 2. We are jumping into game 2. It's going to be on King's Cove. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of King's Cove, we have the American Terran player, the Orange Terran, representing Detonate, leading the series 1-0. It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Mute. Here we go. Confirmed Fistmas mainstream. Oh no. What does that mean? What does that entail? What is Fistmas? I don't think I want to know. Hi. Now we're going to be settling in. And our eyes are going to be on Dolan. Once again, he is typically the aggressor in this matchup in TvP. I don't expect him to go for a 3-racks for a second game in a row, though. Don't quite expect that. But now, single gas. Okay, single gas opener. What does that mean? That means Dolan is going for a more economic build. Racks into CC on the low ground. Much more economic start out of our Terran player. But again, this makes sense on King's Cove. This is a much larger map in the map pool. It takes a lot longer to get across the map. And of course, your 2 and 3 base setup is very defendable. Unlike some of these other maps, there is a ramp coming into the natural. Very narrow ramp as well. All it takes is some well-placed force fields to really stop and slice up an army and cut it in half. As you can imagine, if Dolan did attempt to 3-racks and did attempt to stim up this ramp, it would be a tough ask. Would be difficult to pull off. So we expect something different. Meanwhile, Dolan, he's going for the SCV scout. He checks the 3rd base location, checks the 4th base location, is looking for any proxy gateways. So Dolan playing it safe, making sure that Mute has no shenanigans up his sleeve. Does open up with the Reaper. And back at home is going for the Tech Lab follow-up. Is this a Marauder opener? Into Concussive Shell? Okay, I see you. This is a little bit old school. There it is, Marauder and Concussive Shell. So the goal here for Dolan, typically in this matchup, the Protoss player would usually be not too afraid to move out with the first couple of units. I'm referring to the first Adept, the first Stalker, the first 2 units even. If Mute overextends, if he moves out towards around the natural location, Dolan is going to be banking up those Marauders, and hopefully we'll catch them. We'll catch out those initial units and get a good trade. It's usually how the Terran would approach this. For now, Reaper does dip in. Big shout out to Blarg SC2 in the chat. God, thank you so much for the sub. Oh, probe goes down. Reaper will fall. Checking the vision here. Dolan, did he get into the main? He did not. Dolan is unaware of the tech. It is going to be a blink-based opener. But big shout out to Blarg. Thank you so much for subscribing to Twitch Prime for 4 months. Thank you. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much. And do check out Blarg's stream as well. Does stream from time to time. Every now and then. Big shout out. As we do have a... Oh, it's still going to be a 3-1-1 early racks before starport. Okay, so usually if the... No, my apologies. 2-1-1. Wait, what? For some reason in my mind, I thought that was a rack, not a starport. It's going to be a 2-1-1. A much more unorthodox build in this matchup. Meanwhile, this is the moment we were looking for. The Adept does get caught out, but it will escape. Whew, does shade away. Mirror orders are revealed. But 2-on-1s are usually reserved for TVZs. They are great to be active on the map, to deny creep, to threaten queens, to get some economic damage done. In this matchup, we see this less frequently, but this is a unique variation. We have Widowmines to support, Medevacs on the way, rushing into stim. I'm curious if we're going to be moving out with everything or only with the mine drop. We'll see how Dolan pieces this all together. So Bio Army is building up. Meanwhile, back at home, Mute, of course, working towards his blink. How many gateways? We have one gateway at the natural, we have a gateway in the main, sorry, 2 gates in the main, so 3-gate blink overall. Much more dedicated this time by Mute. If you remember, last game, Mute opened up 2-gate blink into a third. Mute went for a very economic build. This time, 3 gateways, much safer. Much safer build here by Mute. He will have extra warp-ins, extra stalkers. You can see he's making it an immortal as well before expanding. So very safe play, even a baby for expansion. So after what happened in game 1, Mute, he's learned his lesson. He's like, you know what? He's like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna just play safe. I'm gonna just calm down before expanding. Fair enough. Dolan moving out, not with the bio, but only with the Widowmines. Dropping towards the natural. Will boost in, unloads. Oh! Gets into the mineral line, does commit in Mute. The reaction! Ooh, late reaction by Mute. Mine shots say go up, 8 probes go down, massive connections. And that is worth it here for Dolan. We'll lose the medevac, but still 8 probe kills for 3 Widowmines is a worthwhile trade. And now Dolan is going to be moving out. He did scout the bay, saw the robo. Should be aware that that was before expansion. Is moving out. Hallucination likewise moving out for a scout. Alas, does miss the army. Again, King's Cove is a very large map. Hard to get a read on that. Dolan does engage. Oh, there's a first stim. First stim gets baited out. Dolan is unable to catch a stalker. Now he backs up. Now he does retreat. So nicely done there by Mute, engaging the army in the center of the map, forcing out a stim. And could even try to chase him down. And Dolan has to back off. He has to back off, taking a third base, macroing up, working on those upgrades. Likewise, Mute getting his third up and running. And we can now embrace the mid-game. Unlike the previous game where Dolan had a strong start and a strong economic lead, this time it's more even, more back and forth. Mute's comfortably getting into his third base. As I mentioned before, the third is late for Mute, so his economy isn't ideal, but he did forego that faster expansion for faster Colossus. So you can just really safe play out of Mute. There's that give and take. Dolan's being active. I was about to say, I would love to see additional sentries here for Mute for extra force fields to stop the army. As Mute, he does confirm the third CC on location, is aware it's not a 2-base all-in, but Dolan's still being active, looking for a way in. Scans ahead of time, spots the army, sees the Colossus, sees the sentries, and he should not push up this ramp. Looking for any stray pylons. Going for a drop instead. Okay, this I can get behind. Let's go. Scans the third, drops towards the main base, but the pylon does spot. And Dolan backs up. Will pull away. Mine shot baited out. Mute defends. Mute gets his third. Gets his fourth even. Both bases in production. So far so good. Mute slowly expanding. And Dolan, he backs off. He's taking up into Vikings, into Ghosts. Done with medevac production. Viking Ghosts on the way. And yeah, the game is going to slow down. We're going to slow things down. We have our back and forth. Mute being very robo heavy for now. He should soon be diversifying his splash damage, either working towards a second robo and disruptor production or storm, one or the other. Ideally, you don't want to be stuck on purely Colossus. Otherwise, the massive Viking army is just going to completely ruin your splash damage, and you'll have nothing left. Speaking of diversifying, there it is at Templar Archive. So it's going to be Storm, not Disruptors. Going to be Storm coming up next year for Mute. But it's still a ways off. Dolan once again being active on the map. Mute fanning out his units. We have Pylons, we have Stalkers, all to just scout any kind of movement from Dolan. This time Mute, he will spot the army. Observer also getting in position. Rocks get knocked down. Dolan he scans, he confirms, still Colossus, still no Disruptors. He's just setting up, doesn't commit yet. Waiting for more reinforcements. How many ghosts does he have? 3. 3 ghosts, 3 EMPs. Not too many, he has to make them count. 4 CC on the way. Likewise, Mew getting a 5th. He's getting that 5th expansion. Clearing up those spotted pylons. Dolan spots the expansion. Will deny. Ooh, okay, 5th base is cancelled. Mute, he's only got those 2 Colossus though. EMP does connect. EMP goes up. First Colossus gets turned away. So far good kiting here by Dolan. Playing it carefully. Doesn't overextend. 1 Viking goes down. Another EMP here on the Archon. And now Dolan, he's going to commit. Chasing down the first Colossus. Colossus is going to go down. There's one left. Oh my god, the shield battery. Shield battery popping up. Oh my god. Barely keeps it alive. And Dolan, he has to retreat. He lost every single Viking. Didn't get a single Colossus. Ay, ay, ay. The power of the shield battery. Jesus. Wasn't expecting it to go that hard. And Dolan, he's in trouble. He's going to be forced all the way back. Nice EMP. Dolan backs off, mate. Who needs the shield battery overcharge? Oh my god. As Mute holds on, gets a 3rd Colossus. And has he reached our Storm? Ooh, not yet. That is a little bit concerning. There's a Templar Archives, but no Storm. I mean, I say that's concerning because Mute reset the Viking counts. I mean, he can commit here to Colossus. He can make a 4th Colossus if he wanted to. Could get up to 4. He's going to be reinforcing, getting his 5th base, double expanding. Dolan trying to keep up, but again, he was very dedicated to that assault, and as we saw, it wasn't quite worth it. He lost 10 Vikings. 10 Vikings for nothing. For shields. Shields and a bit of hull damage. I mean, a lot of hull damage. The Colossus barely survived, but that was a big investment. And that means the Mute is going to be the first to max out. He's maxing out. 4th Colossus on the way. Again, I'm not opposed to it just because he did reset the Viking count, but I would like this a little bit more if there was Storm as well. It is very risky here to commit to just purely Colossus. Not impossible, but risky. I mean, instead, Mute, he's really heavily reliant on the Gateway army, right? He's a bit of a Gateway man. Mass Zealots. How many Zealots does he have? 28. 28 Zealots here for Mute. Now, ideally, with this kind of swarm toss army, your goal here is to engage out on the map. You don't want to fight with your opponent having the defender's advantage, specifically with your opponent having SimCity. Like, that's what really hurts 28 Zealots, is if there are choke points, right? If there are choke points, if there are planetaries, depots, bunkers, then it can be very difficult to push in. But out on the map like this, then the Zealots can surround. Then there's nothing to really stop them from moving forward. As the armies, they do miss each other. Mute, he's going for the planetary. Planetary is going to go down. Dolan forced to respond. And Dolan's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble here. The base does full SCVs as well. Dolan trying to race back home. The Colossus, they're exposed. He gets 1, he gets 2. Oh my god, he gets 2 Colossus immediately. Prism goes down. Yeah, beautiful fight for Dolan. Takes down 3 Colossus, takes down all 4. But here come the charge lots. Zealots dive in. Nice kiting here by Dolan. Vikings land. Ooh, the ghosts are exposed. Vikings get cleaned up. As dust settles, Mute, he backs off, and I still favor Mute here because you see what I see. Mute, he has 2,000 minerals in the bank. He can warp in nothing but Zealots. Mute, sure, he lost all of his Colossus. He did take a really rough fight, but he killed the base. He disrupted the economy. Dolan is stuck on 3 CC. He needs a 4th and a 5th base. He needs an economy. As a result, Mute is going to be the first to remax. He can remax and hit that 4th base once again. And Dolan needs time. Does need time here. Mute coming in with purely Stalker Zealot. Dolan trying to set up. Again, we'll need that planetary. We get spotted. We need those EMPs. The Liberator sieging up. We have freedom. The freedom is here. EMPs connect on the Zealot and the Archons. Very nice connections. Yeah, Mute, he cannot engage. Not into this. We spoke about this before, but ideally he wants to fight out on the map, not pushing into a planetary. War Prism is going to go down. And Mewtwo will lose almost everything here. He has to get the hell out of here. Pulls away with the Stalkers. Again, pushing into these entrenched positions is exactly what Mute does not want. But he's mass expanding. Taking so many bases, so many expansions. But his main army is struggling. Dolan moving out with a counterattack. We can see again Mute reinforcing with purely Zealots. He is making 3 Colossus at a time though. Jesus, that's a lot of Colossi. EMP going up. Oh, grazes the Zealots. Doesn't fully connect. Again, Zealots they can trade well. Sniping Ghosts. Oh, that's a lot of Ghosts going down. Yeah, it's almost every single Ghost. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, brutal losses for Dolan. Very expensive losses. Trading against purely Zealot. That's what's important there. And now Mute, he's back up to 3 Colossus, getting up to 5, making 2 more behind this. And Dolan doesn't know. That's the scary thing right now. Dolan, he hasn't seen the additional Colossus, so he doesn't know to go back into Viking. He needs Vikings once again. He's going into Liberators, which will help. That is true. Lifting and landing his main. Desperately needs a 5th. He's maintaining himself. Likewise, Dolan is unaware of the mass expansion, so he doesn't know to punish this. Otherwise, he could. You know, 1 or 2 medevacs towards the north and south can absolutely punish this. But he doesn't know. He scans, and now he sees 5 Colossus. Instantly Viking production. Instantly, just as many Vikings as possible. 4 Vikings at a time. Dolan has yet to max out. I don't blame him for not checking for these expansions. But Mute, he's getting out of hand. Economically, I mean. He's getting out of hand. And just like that previous fight, ideally Dolan wants to fight on his terms. Back at home, with the planetary. Dolan, that's a tell. Seeing that attempted pylon. It's a tell that something's wrong when it comes to the map control of Mute. Yeah, Mute, he's building up another 2k mineral bank. That means he'll be able to reinforce with pure Zealot after the fight, if it doesn't go his way. Dolan has to pull back. Liberators are sieged up. Dolan stepping in. Once again, Colossus exposed. EMPs connect. Oh, he barely does not get one. Yeah, the Colossus, they hold their own. There we go. 1, 2 Colossus do fall. Vikings will clean up. Dolan kiting back to the Liberators. Yeah, nice kiting here by Dolan. He will take the better trade. He will take the better fight. Oh my god, has a kite back against the Colossi. And he lost most of his army. Most of the bio, I should say. Barely holding on, but here comes a massive wave of reinforcements. And with the economy, Mute, he can just overwhelm Dolan. Can just overwhelm Dolan. He needed a more efficient fight there. Like, it was kind of awkward. It was out in the open. The Colossus got a lot of value. And Mute is so quick to rebuild. Just reinforcing with pure Colossi. Dolan is barely holding on. And Mute should have this. At this one, he should have this. Gonna take down the planetary. Nice EMPs, but EMPs that don't quite connect with the Zealots. Zealots, they can charge in. And they can chase Dolan down. Colossus, they have arrived. Mineral line does fall. Dolan trying to break up, but again, he can't fight this out in the open. Yeah, who was 15 SCVs. It's kiting well against the Zealots, but more Colossus on the way, more Zealots as well. Vikings get cleaned up. Mute does overextend for a moment there. Does overextend. His army looking that much more vulnerable. But only a little bit though. More Zealots warp in. And Mute, he should be able to break this. Bringing together his Colossus. Swiping away at the army. Boys are being pulled. Dolan, he barely has any boys to pull. Oh god, the reinforcements, they just keep coming. The Warpins, GG gets called as Mute overwhelms, and Mute ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. Again, Mute, he was able to just gain map control and expand and take every single base on the map. Up until that point, Dolan was able to hold his own, but unfortunately, he was just unable to confirm what was really going on. Likewise, he just did give Mute a little bit too much time. Mute was taking, I would say, some worse fights. Mute, he was not necessarily trading well or taking the best fights he could have, but he could afford to make those mistakes. He could afford those mistakes. He could definitely afford anything, really. He had 70 bases. Such an economy. So he was able to brute force his way through. And with that, GG. GG, well played. We're going to game 3. Going to the ace match. And again, I do feel like this is kind of the map that Mute can really thrive in. A map like King's Cove, which is quite large, so it's a little bit more difficult, or it's a lot more difficult for Dolan to be aggressive and be assertive. He has more breathing room. He has more map control, of course. More freedom to do as he pleases. On smaller maps, it's going to be much more difficult here for Mute. Speaking of smaller maps, up next is going to be Whispers of Gold. Here we go. Same high schools after those Vikings. Oh no. I still want to know why there is no Terran representation with the duck. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Oh no. I mean, Dolan's an ex-Duckling, you know? Ex-Cranky Duckling. Unfortunately, we don't necessarily have the funds to continue our pro team, you know? We still have players like Eric on, or players like Ryu, Oreo. But if they ever find like a nice team to call home with like a better salary or something, then they're more than happy to switch over. Oh, I see. I mean, with the Zergling and the plushie. Oh, I see. True. I do need to update. You're not wrong. My plushies. Ah, no. I do have the Marines. I have the plushie Marines. I just need a new photo. I need to take it. I need a proper photo shoot with all the plushies. Like, this is very outdated. This is a photo from like what? 2019? No, 2020. 2021, before the Marine plushies were released. Before the Marine plushies came out. But you're not wrong. The duck needs company. You're not wrong. One day. I'll get around to it. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the American Terran player, the Orange Terran, representing Detonates. It is Dolan. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Peruvian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss. It is Mute. Tying up the series 1-1. But yeah, like, I have so many more plushies now, right? I've got the Marine plushies, I have the Overlord plushie, the Derp Fester. Yeah. I need to set up some nice lighting. Get the photo shoot going. I had the I had the idea. Someone in the chat previously had the idea that because I have like technically plushies for each race, I should set up I should get photos for every matchup, and then I should switch that that image to whatever the matchup is. It's like TVZ or ZVT or PvP. Which sounds like a lot of work, but it's a cute idea. I like it. To change it depending on the matchup that we're casting. What do we do for random players? That's a good question. I don't know, but I like it. There we go. But for now, we're going to be settling in. Going to be settling in here. This time, double gas. Ooh, okay. Double gas opener out of Dolan. This time, going to be going for something more aggressive, more tech heavy. This means a faster factory. This means a delayed CC from the side of Dolan. Delayed, but not all in, of course. There we go. CC on the low ground. Now, with this faster factory, this can lead into a couple different things. This can lead into reactor Reaper Hellion, into some early game aggression. This can, okay. We are going for the add-on swap. Interesting. Going for reactor factory production. That means that we could head into reactor Hellion into drop play. Curious. Do we go into Widow Mines instead? There we go. Reactor Hellion. Okay, so reactor Hellion Reaper. Oh, there we go. It's on the way. Reaper gets across the map, gets some scanning information. Once again, we do have our 2-gate setup. Ooh, Reaper goes down. Scout is denied. There is that tech lab on the racks. This can also lead into an add-on swap into Banshees or Ravens. So I'm curious to see what Dolan is cooking. What's he cooking, Pappy? Now, hallucination from Mute does confirm for the most part the 1-1-1 is aware that the CC is late. There's the add-on swap. Hellions are building up. And we do have Cloak Banshees to reinforce. Let's go. So reacted Hellion into Cloak Banshee. Very aggressive here by Dolan. And we'll see what he can get done. Meanwhile, Mute, are we going for a 2-gate blink opener into a 3rd? Throwing down spotted pylons. Twilight Council is done, working towards blink. Okay, for now, just spotted pylons. Aliens move out. They head towards the natural. Ideally, they want to get into the mineral line. They're on their way in, and they will one-shot probes. So far, they get 1. Oh, getting 2. Hellions being targeted down. They get 5 so far, up to 6. And barely, potentially 7. Yeah, 7 worker kills, 8 worker kills. Not a bad trade here by Dolan. 4 Hellions for 8 probes. It's okay. It's not bad. Does get damage done. Banshee moves out. Hallucination will confirm the researching tech lab. And Mute should be chronoing out that observer. And there we go. Observer is on the way. There will be detection. Mute's still playing it safe. And he should be able to hold his own. And again, this is quite dedicated by Dolan. Throwing down 2 more maxes for an add-on swap. Tank production has begun. Ooh. Okay. That is early tank production for Dolan. And this can lead into a 2-base all-in. Banshees are deflected. They get 1 probe. Dolan is building up. And we could see Dolan go for an add-on swap, get into Stim, and get into +1 as he is making only 1 eBay. And then go for a Stim +1 timing. And he has the option to pull the boys with this on 2 bases. You know, Mute expanding. Getting his 3rd. Throwing down extra gateways. I'm going to say that if this were to be something like a 2-base all-in, it has been delayed because of the initial Hellion aggression and because of the Banshees as well. Cloak was researched. The Banshees need to get more done. So Banshees are moving out. Now 2 Banshees, they can one-shot a worker. They can one-shot probes. You can have 3x of each +E facing off against each other, and random. You could just use one for each side. True, true. That can be arranged. I just need to get around to doing it. Just draw a question mark on the Tiki. As Banshees, they do hit the third. So far, 5 probe kills. Very nice damage. 5 workers go down. Get the hell out of here. Oh. Sniping a Stalker. Not bad. Not bad from Dolan. Building up behind this. Third CC's on the way. He is not going for the all-in. Is going to be building up and macroing out of this. Is still going to move out. Now, this push is designed to deny the third. Is designed to apply pressure and deny the third base. But the move out gets spotted by the Stalker. Mute is somewhat aware. Is being active. Behind this building, a more zealous charge almost done. First Colossus is on the way. We'll see if Mute can survive this. No shield batteries. That's a little bit concerning. No shield batteries, but there's that one Colossus. Tank sieging up. Army dives in. How good are the mine shots? Yeah, Zelts, they do charge forward. Mine shots going to be going up. Zelts go down. But so do the tanks. Yeah, they got what they wanted. And can Dolan sim in? Can he get on top of the Colossus? He's trying. He's trying to sim forward. Looks like there is not enough of a buffer. And again, this time, no shield battery to save the Colossus. No shield battery. No support. Boys are being pulled. And it looks like he will barely get the Colossus. Yeah, just barely. It will not escape. Colossus goes down. Massive pickup. Mew will hold, but at a cost. At a cost of his army and 11 probes. Ay, ay, ay. Dolan from here, he backs off, consolidating his forces. Trying to get the hell out of here. Pull away. Oh, oh my god. Very close. Does pull away in time. Getting his third up and running. And Dolan now takes an economic lead. Does take an economic lead. Now we get the shield battery. Now we get our setup. Now on the way for Mute. And from here, Dolan doesn't have to push in. He can just calm things down. Ghost Academy's on the way. He can just build up on Viking, on Ghost. Get his third base saturated. There's no rush for Dolan. As it's Mute who's recovering. Ooh, and when behind, Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. There is a lot of potential. You may be thinking, oh, but, you know, in this matchup, Terrans have mules. Oh, sorry, Terrans have scans. That is true, but, I mean, typically they are going to be muling quite hard. Scans aren't always available, so damage can still be done with these DTs. So Mute, he can recover, he can bounce back. There is potential. As we said, Lintus, shout out to Tater Student in the chat. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the gifted sub to the community. To Fornia. Thank you. Thank you. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Gracias. Dolan does move out. Across the map. Rotating over, gets eyes on the fourth. Vikings have a mass. The Colossus looking very exposed. No shield battery. He has to pull away. Oh no! He has to pull away. Colossus will survive, but the base will not. That's going to be a cancel on the Nexus. And Dolan, he has that, what, 50 supply lead. Cutting off the army from the Robo. Robo goes down. No more Colossus. Likewise, Vikings zoning away as well. Collapsing on those Colossi. One Colossi going to be going down. Army stims in. And Mute is just being picked apart at the same time. DTs across the map. Oh my god, the DTs! They get 31 SCVs! They get all the workers. Every worker's going to be falling, but it may not matter because Dolan gets his main army. He stims in. GG gets called, and Dolan will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Dolan will take the series. Again, a very strong start from Dolan when it came to his first move out. Unfortunately, Mute wasn't quite ready for it. He did spot the move out, but again, there were no shield batteries ready. Did have a Colossus, did have a good amount of gateway army, did kill the tanks, but alas, did cost him everything else. GG, well played. Dolan being very decisive, very aggressive here, having more success on these smaller maps. Again, it was King's Cove where Mute was able to really get into his own, able to macro up and max out. But in game 1 and game 3, that was not the case. Was not the case with that. Congratulations, Dolan will take the series. And the question becomes, where are we headed next? Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back here.